Hey, it's Alan Burnett from yourweddinghub.com. Welcome back. I want to talk today, part 2, about your wedding vows. Yesterday, just to kind of review, I want to give you a couple of tips. Google wedding vows, wedding ceremony vows, and you will get all kinds of ideas. And feel free to just sort of cut and paste. You may see a line in one set of vows that you Google that you say, oh, I really like this line. We'll pull that out and put it together with some others and cut and paste. Remember yesterday we talked about not making your vows too long? I want to give you another idea today that I've done with a lot of couples, because a lot of couples, when it comes to writing their own vows, they kind of get a little bit nervous, but there are some things that they would like to say. So it's a kind of a personal favorite of mine, I guess, to say, I think it's always good to repeat some vows after you're officiant. And that kind of gives it that officious sense about it. You know, it's sort of like you've done those official vows. But then I'll say to them, you know, do you want to say something of your own? Just after those repeat after me vows, you just want to say some words of your own, maybe just 2, 3, 4 lines. And that can be really effective, really well done. Now, yesterday I talked about the traditional vows. I take thee to be my lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold, and so on. Those are a little bit, you know, I always say to couples, kind of like you're swearing citizenship to the country. No offense if you like those vows. And depending on the type of setting, it's really going to determine what sort of vows you should use as well. If you're in a big cathedral kind of ceremony, yeah, those probably work really well. But if it's a smaller, intimate ceremony, you may want to go to something that's a little bit more intimate. I'm going to tell you the vows that I've sort of cut and pasted together and that I've used probably most frequently over the years. And most couples, when they hear them, they really like these. And feel free to get a copy of these and just kind of cut and paste. You don't even need to give me credit for it. Just go ahead and use these vows. But my vows go like this. I have them start by saying, the groom goes first always. He kind of takes that lead and he says to his bride, all that I am, all that I have, I promise to thee. Now I always kind of joke around with them and say, before you say these vows, do you have a prenuptial agreement? Because if you do, you might need to nix that very first promise. But you know, all that I am, all that I have, I promise to you. I promise to love you. I promise to honor you. I promise to care for you and keep you through all of the trials and circumstances of life. And I promise to be faithful to you alone for as long as we both shall live. Now, if you think back to the traditional vows, I take thee to be my lawfully wedded wife, the vows that I just quoted for you, my own vows that I've kind of put together, definitely if you're a little bit more emotionally inclined, you may those may draw the tears out a bit more, and there's nothing wrong with it. Don't ever be afraid to shed a few tears at your wedding. Girls, make sure you got your waterproof mascara on, but don't be afraid of emotions. That's what makes the ceremony special. And so oftentimes, couples whose weddings I perform will say those kind of vows, and then I'll just say to the groom, Tony, I know that you two have got some words that you want to say to each other. Tony, why don't you go ahead? And he says some words to her. And so that really kind of personalizes it, makes it really intimate. And so it's great to mix and match, you know, kind of do some of the repeat after the officiant, some of your own. Now, some officiants are really pretty rigid. They say, these are the vows that I've got to use. Some states and provinces in Canada, they've got pretty restrictive vows that you need to use. So meet with your officiant and find out what input you can have into that. That's just kind of I'm just scratching the surface on wedding vows, but that's hopefully helpful to you. There's some great books and websites out there that you can find, and I encourage you to do your homework, hunt around and find some tools that are going to help you planning your ceremony, because it's the highlight of the day. It's what all the celebration is about. Thanks for joining me on yourweddinghub.com. Tomorrow, come on back, and we're going to have more tools to help you plan your wedding day. Thank you.